This is the first training session, March 7th, 1992.
Hello class, Specialist Miller. Today I'll be giving a class on engaging a target with M72A2, which everybody knows is a law rocket. It's an anti-tank weapon, and I'm going to just go, okay, today we're given non-operational law rockets. You can see on the sides it says inert, so it's non-operational. And then we're also given, we're going to engage this target, which is, it's the M60 tank, but we're simulating that it's an enemy tank, and it's a model tank, it's not real, it's just plastic. Standards, what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have you engage and verbally disable the tank, because I'll show you, and I'll ask you questions, and you'll tell me what you're going to do, what would be the appropriate thing to do at the appropriate moment. And here's what we're going to have. You're going to correctly identify what to do. There's different sequences in how you fire. You have a single, you have a sequence, you have pair, and you have volley firing. I'll explain all these later in the class. I'm just showing you what you have to do. And correctly fire and adjust upon a still and also a moving target, so we'll move the tank. And then name 3 out of the 6 things that a soldier that has a law rocket will have to do. Right now I'm just going to kind of show you, this isn't a law rocket, I got it off the Discovery Channel. It's a step up, and I'm just going to kind of show you how it actually in a combat kind of situation, what it actually looked like as the tank gunner, and also the gunner, the fighter.
One of the cheapest and simplest anti-armor missiles is the Swedish Carl Gustaf.
Now this is along the same lines as what this does. It's recoilless and
proven its effectiveness in combat.
It'll quickly show you
Carl
what it is.
Gustaf was originally designed exclusively as an anti-tank weapon.
Which
Today,
the law rocket is an anti-tank weapon.
capable of firing different kinds of projectiles. The biggest round is the heat high-explosive anti-tank round.
And this also has a heat explosive, so it's really similar. Heat stands for it's high explosive anti-tank rocket or round, and that's a term that just kind of like what is heat? It's not heat sensing. It's the high explosive anti-tank. This is just showing different things that both rockets, since they are similar, can do.
Though the heat round weighs only 7 pounds, it can destroy a main battle tank. It rides in the barrel.
What they say with, I'm just using it further. They say here that it's going to take more than 1 round to destroy a tank, where this round might be able to destroy a tank. The large rocket will have to need more than 1 round. And here's what I see. Here's kind of the contour in the battlefield.
From the point of view of both the infantryman and the doomed tank.
Does anybody have any questions? That's just kind of a little thing just to simulate what it actually look at from both ends. All right. Warning. Okay, we're using the practice. You know, it's kind of sharp, and when you take it off, or I'm already giving you it in the full configuration. Just watch out for sharp edges. And if you're ever given the chance to actually use a real one, important thing is that it does have a black back blast area, which has 15 meters, that's as dangerous, and then after that 25, which you got to kind of watch out for. It's just, if you actually get the chance, something to watch out for. What I want to go over term heat, they have heat rockets, which is high explosive, anti-take round. And little thing to, when you're out there, you got to determine the range. And I'll just kind of go over that real quick. One thing that's available to us is range finders. And let's say you stake out your area. You can also pace off the area. You know, you set up where you think the tank's going to come in your region, and you'll pace off the area. So you might put markers out there. You know there's a tree. Okay, that's 100 meters. And you know there's a rock over here. That's 200 meters. So so you'll get out there, and it'll help save. You know, if there's a tank coming through, and you got to take 2 or 3 rounds just to find out where he's at. If you can go out, pace it off ahead of time, that'll really help out, or if you have a rangefinder with you. At this time, would anyone like to pre-test on the law rocket and gauging? All right, we'll just keep on going then. What I want to go over right now is you're sitting at your firing position, and the tank's coming in, and all of a sudden it stops. So you're right here, the tank rolls up, and it stops right here. Where do you fire? All you do, you take the rocket, and you sight in, just like here's the sight right here. All you do is just put it right there, lay it right on there and fire. It's exact. You don't have to compensate for anything. You just have to, if you know the range, if you paced it off before, and then you just fire. Okay, and then we'll just keep on going. Okay, he's slowly moving in, just straight across. So you know the range. Go ahead.
So it's moving in with the tank moving up toward the top of the screen, looking at the numbers on the sight pad.
I was saying, I'll use a better one. That one kind of deceiving. He's moving across where the range is staying the same.
Okay.
Okay, right here. Let's say the range right now is 225, because you can see this goes 200, 225, 250, or 25 meter increments, and you have it paced off. And he's going real slow, and how you want to gauge it is like right when he gets into your sight, then fire. It's real slow. They classify 5 miles an hour or less.
Okay.
So if you feel that he's going 5 miles an hour or less, then you fire right when he's getting in there. And like half, yeah, that's, or if he's coming the other way, I don't have a drawing, but if he's coming the other way, right when he's just like the beginning of the sights, then fire.
The hair marks?
Yeah, the hair marks right here. Once he just starts to get right into there, then fire. And what you'll do, you end up hitting center of mass. And that's where you want to fire.
Okay.
And those are the two, going slow sideways. And then we're going to consider also going slow, and he's angling away from you. So he's coming in and he's angling. I'll do it this way because then the meters are going to get farther. He's angling away from you. He's going slow. So at the same point, he's coming here and he's getting further away on your range. You want to fire a little higher because he's going to actually be further out there, and just right when he gets into it. Does that make sense? You want to fire ahead of him, kind of at this angle. You know, before you wanted to fire this way, so now you want to fire at this angle right here.
So what you're saying is take the hash mark with the farther range and put it where you think he's going to be out there.
Yep.
At that range, use that hash mark and aim at the target?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have the other, where he's moving slow. You know, you could have him coming both ways, going away. But then you have the other way, where he's moving slow and he's coming closer. So he's coming in closer and he's moving slow. Once again, 5 miles an hour they consider slow. So at this, he's getting closer to you and he's coming in like this. So you want to fire once he starts to hit this hash mark, and then also a little bit ahead of him. You know, a little bit closer, because if you see him right now, he's going to be at 200 meters, and when he's coming 5 miles an hour, he's going to end up being at 180. So you're going to want to fire ahead of him, and also ahead of him with range, and also the range and also the distance.
Okay.
And then we got the other factor to consider is if he's moving slow and he's going away from you. So the direction right and left isn't changing, but the range is changing. So you're going to want to fire ahead of him in range. Let's say he's getting further out there. He's at 225 right now. You're going to want to fire in between 250 and 225 to hit him. And let's say the other factor, he's coming right towards you, and he's at 225 and he's getting closer, but he's not going right or left, he's coming straight at you. Probably want to fire about 210 to hit him. And you know, it's gonna take practice, but you'll know exactly where to hit them. These are just kind of guidelines for the first time you get out there and practice. And then we have the other factor to consider is the same as all before, but he's moving more than 5 miles an hour. And we know that the Abrams can go 60 miles an hour, and they consider 5 miles an hour or slow, and 5 miles an hour or better fast. So this is going to be a big range. You know, from 5 to 60 miles an hour, you know, you might be, I'm going to just come up here, you know, you might be right over here and have to fire. If he's going 60 miles an hour, you might have to fire out here. And you can tell that your accuracy is going to change. So this will be a thing where you'll really have to practice, because he's coming in here much faster, where before we wanted to fire right when he got on there. Let's say he's going 10 miles an hour, we're going to probably want to fire when he's back. When he's back here, you know, and then just increasing with how fast you assume he's going. And that's where, if you have 2 people firing, it might help out. And then it's the same factor. If he's going faster at an angle and he's getting closer to you, you're going to have to compensate. You know, before you wanted to fire maybe here and a little bit ahead of him, now you want to fire probably really close, you know, or closer, and also far ahead. And in the same instance, if he's doing 60 miles an hour, and you catch him at like, you know, 150 range, and you want to get him straight in your sights, you might have to fire out at 200 or 225, and then straight ahead of you when he's far to your right and he's going away from you. Do you have any questions with that? Does it all make sense?
How fast would a vehicle be going before you're really not going to attempt to try to use the law on it? 'Cause, I mean, how good is that sight good for?
With speed,
Yes.
they really didn't cover. They said, you know, if you're out on a mission and you got to hit a tank and they're all going 60 miles an hour, you know, you're going to have to take a shot. So I'm going to get, I'm going to have to cruise. You're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to fire a lot further out, or you're just going to have to work on the other things.
Okay.
All right. In firing, we have a single, which is one person's firing, and then we have sequence, which is one person has more than one llama rocket. You know, sequence is going to take 2 or 3. Like you're saying, you know, maybe the first time you miss, the second time you hit. Pair, there's going to be 2 people with more than 2 rockets out there. Volley firing, maybe you got a whole squad of people, you know, and everybody's got, you know, 2 rockets with them. You got 10 people out there. Everyone's going to fire. Things that you'll just have to know are basic. Who's going to shoot? You know, maybe, you know, you're talking, they're going 60 miles an hour, but you're going to have one person shoot here and you have a line. So this guy's going to shoot first and work it on down the line. Where will the target be engaged? You know, you have your distances measured out, which is going to be most accurate. What method will be used? Will you use a single, sequence, pair, or volley firing? Range, and the lead of the target, like we were talking before, how far out and how far ahead will you have to shoot? When to fire and when to cease fire. Just all this, you know, the basic infantry tactics. I don't know, here's what we're going to do for a practice. I'm gonna give you fully configured lock. I'm just gonna sight it in. And what would you do if it's just sitting still?
It's just sitting still, I aim right on the target based on the range on the hairlines of the sight.
All right, let's say he's moving 3 miles an hour this way. Where are you gonna fire?
3 miles an hour, that would be 5 miles or less of slow, so I would put it so the tank, tip of the nose would be just coming into the vertical line of the sight.
All right, do you need any more before we do a performance test? Do you wanna go over the sequences, like
No.
single?
I think I got it.
All right. Got my performance in. All right, I'm gonna just ask you a question now. He stopped, what would you do, sir? How would you aim?
I would determine the range. Let's say he's out at 200 meters. I would pick the spot that I want to hit on the tank, put that point on the hairline, note it at 200 meters, and fire at it.
All right. Next, he's coming directly towards you and he's still going, let's say he's doing 8 miles an hour. How are you gonna aim?
Okay? He's coming straight at me. There's no angling. And he is going fast. Therefore, I'm going to be aiming more in front of him. And on the hairline of the sight, say he's at 200 meters, he's coming at me, I'm going to put the hairline at, say, 180 on the vertical sight.
Good, okay. Let's say you got a squad of people. Okay, can you tell me just 3 things? What are things that you'll have to know when you have a law rocket?
Okay, who's going to fire first?
Okay.
What type of firing you're going to be using, whether it's just a sequence, a paired, or a volley.
Okay. And let's say you have one person out there. What would you classify that as firing? He's only got one law rocket, and it's one person out there.
Okay, that would be a sequential.
Sequential is if he had 2.
Becoming the leader themselves, they'll have to know like what the commander's intent was. They'll have to know important aspects of whatever mission they're accomplishing. So it's important for them to be informed.
Joe, you can add that? Sound good?
I guess I would agree with what you're saying.
All right. And in their case, they say, in an event of a communications breakdown, like you said, them becoming the leader, that they can carry on the mission of the commander's intent. Very good. Can you read that, please, sir?
Develop a sense of responsibility in their subordinates.
I'm just going to read this and then we'll discuss. To apply this principle, you must recognize your soldiers' accomplishments when they demonstrate initiative and resourcefulness. By delegating authority to them, you show that you have faith in their actions. And let them know that they can make honest mistakes without the fear of being penalized. Sergeant Brenner, why do you think that's important?
Well, if I was to say he was making a judgment call and if he was to know that he was going to be punished if he was wrong, he would have to make that call. So you have to have faith in that he won't be punished if he should happen to make a mistake.
I think we also have to allow for mistakes. Let them know that there are human mistakes can be made. It also lets them know what can be learned from those mistakes, and I think it'll make them better soldiers all around.
Good job. Sergeant Brenner, can you read that?
Ensure the task is understood, supervised, and accomplished.
I'm just going to read this. Soldiers need to know the what, how, and when of the tasks assigned to them in order to be sure that they understand your orders, and you must supervise their performance. Be careful not to over-supervise or under-supervise. Sergeant Brenner, can you tell me what happens when you over-supervise?
You draw away from their self-esteem. They become more unwilling to do things because you don't give them a chance to read. So,
Would you have anything to add?
I don't think that takes away from their trust in you, like they're not trusting them. And therefore that can cause a bad attitude sometimes if you know they're not trusted. I think that's probably the biggest part of it. It's just a part of trust.
Very good. What happens in the case, Sergeant Booth, if the soldier's under supervised? You know, he goes into drill every day and the sergeant just lets him be, you know, just assumes that he's going to get the task done. What's going to happen then?
I would say it almost has the same effect as his old supervisor. It's almost just the effect that you don't care anymore. It's like, why should you try it? Nobody cares. You leave a little, you don't need to over-supervise.
Sergeant,
that's about it. I mean, it's, you end up losing a guy. You'll just start becoming involved, and you'll be going his own way, you're losing.
I'm just going to add to that. When he's under supervised, the task or mission may not get done or done properly. So you guys know. Next one, sir. You read that?
Build the team.
Build the team. I'm going to read this. The 10th principle of leadership is build a team. Fighting on the modern battlefield depends on teamwork. The better the team, the better the chances for the successful mission and the mission accomplishment. I'm going to just throw this out to you guys. How can we build a better team?
By
You can jump in.
I would say by realistic training.
yeah, much more realistic training, and being there for them, showing them they'll do what they want, they'll do, and do you understand how to? You build build a confidence in your team.
You also need to allow them to fail and not get all over for it. I think the way to develop a team is by knowing each other, knowing each other's weaknesses and strengths. I think allowing them to fail is another positive way to build a team so they know what they can and cannot do together.
That's all I have to say too. You gotta allow them to fail. Because if you don't, then they don't understand each other's ethical background.
So experience and realistic training. Next one. Sergeant, can you read that?
Employ your unit in accordance with its capabilities.
I'm just read this. 11th and final principle of leadership is employ your unit in accordance with its capabilities. You need to know what your team and squad can and cannot do. You need to know what they are capable of and what their limitations are. Missions and tasks can be tough and challenging, but they also need to be realistic and attainable. You must analyze the assigned task and use the full capability of your unit before requesting assistance. Why is this?
You gotta know how much your squad can take. I mean, if you got them up for 48 hours, you gotta know that they take that go down, and that kind of stuff you gotta know. It's important.
I agree. I'm sure just knowing their limitations and capabilities, how long you can keep them going.
Kind of want another thing to look at is, examples like a bridge. Someone asks you to build a bridge and they need it built in 3 hours, and you know that to build a bridge up here across the Mississippi is going to take you 6 hours. You can't tell them that it's going to only take you 3 hours. So also for the chain of command above you and below you, you got to know how long it takes. All right, that completes ELO number 3. Sergeant Brenner, can you read that to us?
ELO number 3, explain the 11 principles of leadership.
Do you guys have any questions about this? Okay. We know leadership is and how we define it. We also know the 4 factors of leadership and 11 principles. We also know that as a leader, there are some basic things we must be, know, and do, which is on statement number 5, which we'll get to. We know that we must provide purpose, direction, and motivation. Can you read the first one for us?
Be a person of strong and honorable character.
And in examples? Sorry, can you read the first one?
Determination. You must be determined to accomplish the mission. I mean, you must show them that you're determined, your determination is above reproach. I mean, you're determined to do something and you will do it.
Can you also tell me what the definition of determination is? Like you said how we used it. Now, can you tell me what the definition is?
Definition of determination is
Can you answer this, sir?
I think determination is an attribute that is within a person. Maybe not everybody has a large deal of determination, some have a great deal of determination. I believe it's something within ourselves to do what we have to do or to accomplish what we want to do.
I'm just going to answer that. It's a required drive needed to accomplish a task. All right, Senator Booth, can you read the next one for us?
Passion.
And how does that deal? Why do you need that? And then also the definition.
Compassion. I believe it's showing people that you care, that you understand. I believe you have to have compassion to show your support, that you care, or even to show your seniors that you care. You'd like to know that you're a human being.
Very, very good. Senator, can you read the next one?
self-discipline. That's where you control your own feelings. Be self-discipline. More like you control your feelings.
Right, why is that really important with the leader?
So that you show them that you control yourself. I mean, you're disciplined enough to know, even though you want to go, you know you can't, so you just won't go.
I believe self-discipline is another attribute that a person has. It's showing people that even if you're wrong, that you're not too proud, that you want to make yourself do something even though it's hard. There's a lot of kind of hope and determination and self-discipline.
Very good. Can you read the next one? Sorry.
Role modeling. I believe role modeling is very important to you, especially your subordinates. It's something I care about myself, my appearance. The next comes up on almost the first row. Role modeling, having determination, compassion, self-discipline. It's showing them, wow, I like to be like that guy.
Sir, brother, can you read the next one for me, please?
Initiative. Being able to foresee or to do what you want, initiative, to take the initiative, not being, if you're not told to do it, you know it's got to be done, just go out and do it. You're going above, taking the initiative to see to it that it's done, without having to be told.
So it's kind of like being an NCO.
Yes.
Very much. Sir, flexibility.
Flexibility. Being able to handle any situation that arises. That means, let's say you're in a war situation, you're a squad leader, you're a senior squad squad leader, all of a sudden, the sergeant gets taken out, and you're next to move up in that position. That be flexible if your whole job description has changed. Just being flexible, handling situations that arise at a given time.
Very, very good example. Somewhere, can you read the last one for us?
Consistency. It's being there all the, on the same time, keeping things in line in order continuously.
Very good. Thank you. Dave's down here too. We'll go to the next one. Sarah, can you read that to me?
Being committed to the professional army ethic.
All right. The dictionary defines ethic as the discipline dealing with what is good and bad with moral duty and obligation. Sorry, Brenner, can you read the first example up there too?
Loyalty to the nation
Does that mean
means being loyal to the nation. What our leaders want, our president of the United States, our nation is that, just be loyal. You sign in the military, and if they need for defense, you're there.
I guess I kind of look at loyalty to the nation as you would never do anything against your country or your fellow man in that country to harm it or hurt it, like being a traitor or a user selling out your country. Being loyal to it.
And then, in the respect to loyalty to the Army, what does that mean to you?
Loyalty to the Army. I'd say loyalty to the Army is giving yourself and you're open to all their policies and their rules and regulations as an organization, and that you're loyal to that, and you're willing to be subject to or uphold any of those policies or regulations they have set forth for that organization.
Very, very good. Next one, Senator Brenner, can you read that to us?
The unit, and the unit, or
Loyalty to the Union.
loyalty to the unit. And that again, we're going into more like being loyal to all their policies, all the regulations and norms that run in the unit, and just being loyal.
I'm just going to add to that. Referring to placing the unit's needs and missions ahead of your own personal desires, and that's something that we all do. Sergeant Cooper, can you read the last one?
Selfless service. Okay, selfless service. I would say that's giving of yourself service to your nation, army, or unit, selflessly just to help them, benefit them, and not for your own personal gain.
Do you have anything to add to this one?
That's just my exactly that. Just, serving them without just trying for your own gain.
Yeah, very good. And then one thing to say, try to remember that promotions are not personal rewards. You can earn, when you earn a promotion, it's so that you better serve your subordinates, your unit, and your nation. And a lot of people, think it's for them it's a personal gain, but actually for the country, we all know that, it's better serving. Do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, yeah.
Bring something up.
All right. Integrity. What does that mean to you, Senator?
Integrity means that you won't lie. Your integrity won't be questioned. When you fill out a form on an individual, you're putting down what it is, and you're not making anything. You're not trying to hurt the guy or anything like that. You play like the weight control program. exactly the same for that guy as you would for the next guy. That way your integrity won't be questioned.
Question, duty, the legal or moral obligation to do what you should do without having someone telling you to do it. We expect you to accomplish all assigned tasks to your best of your ability. Duty requires that you accept full responsibility for your actions, performance, and your shoulders. Sorry, so maybe the next one.
Being an example of individual values.
Not only do we expect you to possess these values, but you must demonstrate them to your soldiers by your actions. Sergeant Brenner, can you read the first one?
Courage. Courage. Have the courage to overcome fear. Right? Courage is to be able to tell an individual what he must do, what he must not do, not to turn around and go the other way. Have courage to face whatever problem comes about.
I encourage you, it's courage to do what is right, what is expected of you. Courage kind of sums up the one about value, integrity, self-service. Courage to enforce all this.
I'm just going to add that you guys, this means put the fear behind you and carry out your mission whenever it is with confidence, believing in yourself, your shoulders, your unit, and your devotion to your country are the very roots of courage. You must stand up for your convictions and hold your position when you're right. Sergeant Candor, what does that mean to you?
Candor.
You know from that term, right?
I don't know.
Candor, gee,
Alright, you guys are running out of trouble. Alright, I'll define this to you and I'll just read it. If you guys have any questions, we can go over it. They define candor. This means being open, frank, honest, and sincere with your soldiers, your peers, and your seniors. If you criticize, offer a solution. Always portray candor, but know when to back up and support proper orders. Do you guys have any questions about that? So what does candor help you concerned with?
Basically, like you said, truthful. Truthful comes to mind regularly. Being truthful about how you feel about certain situations. That's a good statement. You criticize, offer a solution, not just criticize. Anybody can do that.
that's what I would say. You're going to criticize being candor, you're going to criticize, make sure you offer a solution.
Next one.
Confidence. Being confident to me would be being top of your field, being intelligent enough to know you're at what. Say, you gotta be confident as an NCO, you gotta know fundamental leadership, you gotta be confident.
I believe confidence is being able to perform your kind of west to the standard that you are supposed to be, or to the level that you're supposed to be. Confidence is being able to, if you're, in order to be a squad leader, you should have already, especially having the confidence now that when people have trust in you to handle or expect you to perform, to accomplish what you're supposed to.
Alright, very good. I'm just going to add to that. This refers to being technically and tactically proficient. We've all heard this a few times. You must know your technical skills. You must be knowledgeable about your job and show good judgment. And when you're confident, you and your soldiers gain confidence and motivation to win on the battlefield. Sir, so can you read the next one?
Is being
gotta be committed. Commitment, to me, is what other groups mentioned. You gotta be committed to whatever duty or task is assigned to you.
I'm just gonna add that is Jimmy Greer, just giving you a few other extra words. This leads having the dedication to carry out all of your unit missions, upholding the values of your unit, which is time for the Army and the nation. You must do your best to train your soldiers and develop both professionally and personally. Alright, Sergeant Brenner, can you read that? This next area here.
Be able to resolve complex ethical dilemmas.
Right? If you make sound and timely decisions, you will be well on your way to being able to resolve complex ethical dilemmas. It helps, of course, to know what ethical dilemmas are. I think so. What is a dilemma?
I would say a dilemma to be caught in between. Having a dilemma, maybe picking one or
From worst to worst, you've got between two situations, you have two bad situations. The worst of the worst, and you got a dilemma of which one you want to take.
Exactly.
kind of like what's the better of the worst.
Yeah. Situation presenting two or more undesirable alternatives. Do you have an example, Sergeant Brenner?
Say, as long as say you have two people that have both been up for 24 hours, you gotta make choice which one of them you want to turn down, bed down. One's gotta stay up longer and the other one don't, and which one are you gonna pick? You don't want to show favoritism, but yet one of them's been laying down sleeping, the other one's still gonna be standing up, taking records.
Very good example. I'm just going to add another example, just so we kind of get this in green. You've worked hard as a squad leader, getting your squad organized, combat ready. Both of you guys being squad leaders, you've done this before. All the other squads are screwed up, and you've put a lot of extra time and work getting it up to your squad up to standard. Your platoon sergeant calls you over and calls you and says, you did such a good job with the other squad. He wants you to take over either second or third squad. Second squad short of people. Third squad has that reputation like, most of those squads where they never get any work done. And, it's what choice you make. It's just a simple dilemma. Am I going to pick the one with less people or the one that's screwed up? Now it's an ethical dilemma. What's an ethical dilemma?
Something maybe that you believe in, but you know it's wrong. I'm trying to think of an example of how to ask the question.
What is an ethical dilemma?
Gotta be something you believe in. And the dilemma's gotta be too wrong, so which one you want to pick.
Your choice between two or more conflicting values, just like what you said. Do you want me to repeat that first? Okay. It's a choice between two or more conflicting values. Right. To resolve an ethical dilemma, you search for the morally right thing to do. The right thing is a moral action which best serves the ideas of the nation, the Army, the unit, and your soldiers. I have an example for you guys. You have the chance to be an honor graduate if you get the maximum score on the exam. You guys probably had this chance at PLBC or being on arena. Making honor graduate would really increase your chance for promotion. And this is kind of true. So you make honor grad and get back. Said, all right, I'll change. Which is something that you want very much. You want a lot, and that's most of us. By the chance you overhear what you believe to be the correct answer on an exam, you place a very high value on honesty. Question: What values are in conflict in this situation?
There's honesty, that's one value. That's very much integrity. The other one, probably candor.
I believe integrity, placing them,
And questions, conflict, honesty, and what is conflicting with? It's a promotion, his self-interest, does he want to get the promotion?
So you guys feel really good.
Okay, and on these, which of the two, between honesty and his self-interest, which of the two values is a part of the American Army idea? Okay, of these two values, which one is part of the Army, the nation, and the unit's values, their ideas? Which one between honesty and his self-interest? Yeah, because that's what the Army and the nation as a whole believes in, is honesty. If this soldier had not placed a high value on honesty, would there have been an ethical dilemma?
Suppose not.
No, because if there's
He only cared about bettering himself. He wanted, that's what he was handling.
If there was no conflict between your values and changing the answers, would it still be unethical though? Compared to the Army's rules?
Yes. So we unethical.
Right.
Remember that an unethical act is an act that violates special trust placed in us to behave in a military way. This is true even if the act does not counter our own value systems. So if you didn't have any of these values, it still would, counter the value system. And that sums up ELO number 4. Sergeant, did you hear that sentence?
Demonstrate ethical behavior.
All right. Sergeant Brenner, can you read number 3 to us just to review?
Number 3, explain the 11 principles of leadership.
All right. So far, we went through, explain the 11 principles of leadership and demonstrate ethical behavior. Do you guys have any questions so far? What's going on? Anything to add to the class which you think would be pertinent?
Man.
The next thing, now, what must we as a leader, we must do and know? Can you read the first one?
Know the 4 factors of leadership and how they affect each other.
Sir, can you read the first one?
But for the example,
Yes, right here.
okay, the left, the situation, the leader, and communication.
Can you tell me who they are and how they pertain?
Okay,
Who's the left?
the lead is your subordinates. The situation is what your mission is to accomplish. The leader, how he's going to handle leading to accomplish that situation. And communication, how he's going to handle communication for the chain of command and his subordinates.
Sir Brenner, can you read the next one?
The gold standard.
Yeah. Why is that important?
Well, you'll have to know the standards completed task that's assigned to you. It's very important. I go to your exam.
Yeah. Or how about you just give me an example?
Knowing standards would be like giving a test. A test is the standard, say the standard is 70% and above passes, and anything below 7% will fail. And a person comes in with 69%. He failed it, and because of the standards, and like you said, with one not even half a question wrong, but yet he still fails, he receives an no vote with the standards on 7%.
How does that better or hamper a unit's performance?
It gives everybody an idea what to shoot for. I mean, this is the standards, and you have everybody doing the same thing. You have a better team.
So if a leader knows the standards, then his company should at least perform to those standards. Sergeant, so can you read the next one for us?
Know yourself. Personality, performance, talents, or the
Strengths and weaknesses.
strengths and weaknesses,
And
knowledge, skills, and attitudes.
Know yourself. Why is that important to you?
Know yourself. I believe if you didn't know yourself very well, you'd have a hard time being a leader, or the leader would not have that consistency that you're supposed to have. But confidence, you have to know yourself, know your limitations and your capabilities. Just be able to want to chaos.
Next one. Know your human nature. I'm just going to throw this out between you two. Kind of, you guys can talk about that a little bit. Why is this really important?
Human nature is, to me, what each and every one of us have differently. You have to know that there's different types of people out there. Human nature would be like, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Everybody has potential. I mean, human nature to be bad one day, and good the next.
I guess on my behalf, I believe that human nature is something that we all have in common. We all need to have to eat, we all have to sleep. We all get frustrated, we all get angry. And I guess human nature that is part of being your subordinates, because you need to know that how I think you're angry with and frustrated. There's a lot of things that you do. If you overwork them, they're going to become fatigued and stressed. That's something we all have in common.
So know what to expect.
Know what to expect.
All right. Next one, Sergeant Brennan.
Know your job. Well, that falls under like knowing the standards, like to know your job. You don't want to be trying to teach somebody something you don't know. I mean, it'll show how, but you don't know.
So knowing your job is knowing about the standards, actually.
Knowing your job so that you can lead your people into accomplishing the job. You know what you need to have for that job, whatever the situation is, ultimately accomplishing it.
Along with that, Sergeant Proof, can you read the last one?
Know your unit capabilities and unit limitations.
All right, what's that?
Know your unit capabilities. To me, it's like, what's your unit's mission is? And let's say you have an infantry unit, you can't expect them to handle administration, kind of that type of work. Just knowing their capabilities and limitations due to their mission that they have to accomplish.
That's about it all right there. And if you don't know your unit's mission or capabilities, your unit should be working as a teamwork. If you don't know what your second squad is doing or what your unit's doing, you're in trouble. You must know. That's what it said. Yeah, I know.
Do you guys have any questions about what we've covered? How about we just read through one more time? Can you just read that?
Know four factors of leadership and how they affect each other. Okay, know your standards, know yourself, know human nature, know your job, know your unit.
And I just want to, we'll read the B again, just go ahead. Sergeant Brennan.
Be a person of strong and honorable character. Be committed to the professional Army ethic. Be an example of individual value. Be able to resolve complex ethical dilemmas.
What are the three basic things that a leader must do? We've covered be, know, and do. You guys know?
I would say a leader must do what is right or expected. I guess that's an absolute definition.
We define leadership as a process of influencing others to accomplish their mission by providing purpose, direction, and motivation. Sergeant Bernard, can you read the first one?
By purpose.
And explain, and read the example.
Explain the why of mission to communicate your intent.
What does by purpose actually mean to you?
To tell them, to give them the reason why you're doing this job, and give them something other than just having a big box on it. You've got to give them a purpose of why you're doing this. To save your life, anything along the line. And so you have the purpose there, so the person doesn't just give up. If you get a purpose in life, keep going.
Once again, just you got the purpose of why they're doing it, how it's benefiting them, how it's helping their mission. That's important.
Sergeant Bernard, can you read the examples?
Provide direction, set goals and standards, plan, make decisions, solve problems, supervise, evaluate, teach, coach, and counsel, train soldiers and soldier teams.
What does provide direction mean to you?
Provide direction of how you're supervising, provide direction so that they can learn what the mission is, how to perform that task, direction how to better themselves, how to move up the rank, requirements they need, regulations to follow.
Sergeant Bernard, can you answer that?
That's what I would say. Provide direction on moving up to promotions. To give you that direction of which way he wants to go. He just wants to stay respectful. If he doesn't really want to go all the way up to the ranch, everything you do, he's not. Right.
Just an example, you're out in the field and your platoon sergeant, you know, he gives you a task, but he doesn't provide direction. What's going to happen with that task? You guys can comment?
It's not going to work, it's going to fall apart, it's not going to be done right, or it's going to be done partially. It isn't going to be effective in any way, it's not going to help the soldier in any way that's wrong.
That's what I say. It'll probably get done, but done in the wrong way because they didn't understand which direction the sergeant or the platoon sergeant wanted to go. He knew that the job, not the job they were given, but where they're going to go with it.
Provide education, take care of soldiers, serve as an ethical standard bearer, develop cohesive soldier teams, make soldiers meaningful, reward performance that exceeds standards, correct performance that not meet standards, punish soldiers who intentionally fail to meet standards or follow orders. Provide motivation. Yeah. Well, I think the biggest way to motivate is giving awards for doing the right thing. I think it's saying if we do this, it's better for us all around. We'll get a little bit more out of it, a little bit more free time to do this, but you understand it, you're taking it all in.
And also the going on to the ethical standards and you're gonna punish a guy after the third time he comes in with a haircut. He doesn't have that haircut, he knows he's gonna be punished. And it provides motivation for him to go out and get that haircut. It's a way to provide motivation.
State oil leader must fundamentally be no.
I just want to, there's something I'd like to review one more time, it seems like really important. Sorry, can you just run down the line and read those things?
Be a person of strong and honorable character, be committed to the professional army ethic, be an example of individual values, be able to resolve complex ethical dilemmas.
Do you guys have any questions on this? Alright, the next one. The no. Go ahead, sorry, Matt.
Know the four factors of leadership and how they affect each other. Know the standards, know yourself, know human nature, know your job, and know you.
Do you guys want to discuss this anymore? Or is that? Alright. And then the last one I'll read is the do. Provide purpose, provide direction, provide motivation. And with the be, know, and do, it's like the foundation of a leader. Sorry, who can you read? ELO number 3 for us.
Explain the 11 principles of leadership.
All right, and number 4 is demonstrate ethical behavior. Number 5 is state what a leader must fundamentally be, know, and do. In my 50-minute block on Introduction to Military Leadership on the second hour block, we've covered these 3 ELOs. Do you guys have any questions? All right, I just want one last thing. Back to the TLO. Sorry, can you read this one?
Given a period of instruction in a classroom environment on military leadership demonstrates your ability to lead a team squad in accordance with the leadership doctrine covered in the
Alright. With these 3 ELOs, we're well on our way to completing this. Thank you very much. Do you guys have any last questions? Discussion? All right, thank you.